All right, good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. Good to see everyone. So a bunch of you know me. I'm Jeremy Redmon. For those of you who do not, I'm a former board member and a former vice president of the association. This will be my 17th year officiating lacrosse. So I'm going to talk to you today briefly about how to take the next step. So I'm going to share with you what I've learned officiating at nearly every level of lacrosse, from youth to high school, to MCLA, to NAIA, to NCAA, and I'll take your questions. I'm going to keep it simple. I only have a few slides. Like Greg, I teach, so I know not to kill you with PowerPoint slides. And I'm going to share with you what I've learned by making mistakes, the scar tissue I've developed over roughly 16 years now, so that hopefully you won't make the same mistakes I've made, the do's and don'ts. So we'll talk about three things today: planning, how to take the next step; execution, how to do it; and then self-evaluation, the reflection that's required. My friend Herb touched on some of these things. I'm going to dive a little bit more deeply without trying to replicate what Herb Phillips talked about. Some of this will be obvious to you. Some of it will be a little more nuanced. Go ahead and ask questions during the presentation. Happy to do it during, or we could save it to the end, or if you're not comfortable asking questions, now I'll be walking around afterwards. You can catch me. You can also reach me. No, I'm good. All right. So the first thing is, set your goals, right? So where do you want to be and why? It's okay if you only want to officiate youth games. There's some people I know that's all they want to do. It's fine. Some of them are actually more challenging than high school games. Can I get an amen? Right? Actually, I stopped doing youth games. I started off doing them, and I stopped doing them. And I'm doing them again now with my son, and now I realize why I stopped doing them. No, actually, I'd say I enjoy them. I particularly enjoy them doing with my son, Casey, who is here, by the way, and I'm embarrassing him. He's sitting in the back row, and he just started officiating youth lacrosse last year. Yeah. Here's the thing. At the youth level, you can make a big impact because the kids are still impressionable. It's really fun to do lineups with them and talk to them and to communicate with them. It's totally fine if you just want to do high school. We need many guys who can do that, right? You see the numbers that we talked about today, over 100 officials doing, 3,000 slots, over 1,000 games. Some of those games are pretty exciting, right? Westminster, love it. Roswell, Lambert, those are great games. But it's also good to dream about calling college games one day, right? You can get there. Striving for higher level games as a way to improve your officiating is a worthy goal. It's human to want to challenge yourself and to grow. I want to underscore, though, that GLOA assigns only youth in high school. Though Patrick is here walking around, he does MCLA assignments. A bunch of us in the association do college games. I don't know if Bill Powell or Eric are here, but if you want to get to that level, there are people to talk about it. Mike is here as well. These are all good mentors. So understand the order of things. How does it work? No one talks about this, really. You're kind of left to learn this on your own. I had to learn this on my own as well. So I want to say some of the things that are unsaid today. Say the quiet part out loud. So what you would think is, you start, and I want to emphasize this is not a linear process. I'll go back to my point about some youth games are actually more challenging than high school games. Some high school games are actually more challenging than college games. Some high school teams I've reffed could beat the college teams I've reffed. So this is not necessarily linear, and I want to just underscore that point for you. But the traditional way you think about it, and the way it sometimes works, is you will start off doing youth games as the umpire, then the referee. Then you do high school freshmen, then JV as the umpire, maybe as the ref, right? Then you'll do a postseason high school game as the field judge, as the umpire, then the ref. High school championship game. Same order. MCLA, field judge, right? Umpire, referee. NAIA, right? We're talking about like Reinhardt. Then NCAA, Division III, Division II, Division I. Working your way up. Again, field judge, umpire, referee. But here's the thing, though. There is ways to improve within that linear line I'm talking about that is really not linear. Is that you could be a really good field judge, you could be a really good umpire, you could be a really good referee, and they take different skills. Right? I want to talk a little bit more about that. Here's the thing, Herb mentioned this, is to watch how others do it. Who are the people you respect? Who does it the right way? Find those people. Ask to sit in their pregame meetings. Be quiet during those pregame meetings if you're not part of the crew. Watch their games from the sideline. Find out when they're officiating and go sit and watch their games. Watch college lacrosse on TV. Learn how the pros do it, right? Find the people you respect who are doing it right, who have the it factor, as Herb talked about, and try to model that behavior. Try to, what did Pablo Picasso say once? Good artists borrow, great artists steal. Right? Next step is execution. Herb mentioned this. Control what you can control. There are certain things you can control. I'm going to talk to you about those things. There are certain things you can control. Blocks. You could set your own blocks, right? Do you just want to referee games around where you live within a 10-mile radius? Or do you want to get potentially better games by opening up your blocks? You can control that. When I started out, I don't think I had any limitations on my blocks. I would go anywhere and everywhere to do games. Travel outside of the state and do tournaments because you'll work with other officials and you'll learn things from them where you can't learn the same things here potentially, right? You'll see different games, different teams, different officials. So the distance you're willing to travel is something you can control. Be willing to go farther to get better. Rules knowledge, right? You see the rule book there? You really have to get your nose in the rule book. It should be something you do before each game, actually, and after each game. The fitness is key. You can control that, right? Are you running? Are you working out? Are you walking? What are you doing to keep in shape? These athletes have a regimen. What is your regimen to keep up with them? Greg emphasizes this, and I agree with him, that your appearance in your uniform is crucial. It sends a loud signal about your professionalism. Do you think the coaches are going to take you seriously if your flags are hanging out of your pocket and you're wearing white shoes and your hat is all sweat-stained? Right? Punctuality. I grew up in a military family, so arriving on time is 15 minutes early. You got to be there on time or early, okay? And communication and mechanics. This is crucial. When I work with a crew and I have Someone who doesn't send me the email, let me know, when and where we're going to meet, or let them know that I got the assignment. They show up late. Their mechanics are bad. I'm like, oh, brother, this is going to be a long game. All these things you can control. All right, so you've all watched, I'm sure, Deadpool, the movie. He always says maximum effort, right? So what that means is the athletes and the coaches have been preparing for weeks, months even, for this moment. The athletes, even the coaches, have faced rejection. They've persevered. They've trained extraordinarily hard to get to this point. Some college coaches pay their mortgages with the job they're doing. You have a responsibility to give your game that you're doing the best, every game. After all, you're getting paid for it, right? So maximum effort. This is something Herb mentioned as well, is to see each game as an opportunity to improve. What will you seek to improve on the game you're about to do, and why? Approach it incrementally. Think about it. You won't be able to transform yourself overnight, so be patient, right? But pick at least one thing. Identify one thing you can work on in this game. How you communicate with the coaches, your mechanics, how you signal fouls, etc. Here's another thing you can do. You're reffing high school varsity lacrosse, and you're having trouble communicating with coaches. You've noticed you've had an issue. Next JV game you do, or next youth game you do, work on that issue, particularly when it's an easier game that you're able to manage better, right? And perfect that in that game so you can bring it to the high-level games that you do, the more challenging games. And the last phase is self-evaluation. This is critical. Be honest with yourself. So what that means is, where are your strengths? Where can you improve? For example, do you have high school or youth games that frequently go sideways? Why? Why is that happening? What can you do to prevent that? And what does that say about your readiness to take the next step? High school, postseason, championship games can be particularly fast and competitive, right? College games, particularly NCAA, Division I, Division II, they're faster. Faster than high school, faster than MCLA. Some MCLA games actually are super fast and challenging, some Georgia Tech games. Be honest with yourself. Can you mentally and physically keep up with that game? Are you out of shape? Are you injured? These are crucial questions you have to ask yourself. Be honest with yourself. Take a critical look. Again, it's sometimes not fun, and it is a humbling experience, but watch game film. You might cringe a bit, but it's worth it. Ask GLOA, ask coaches for game film. Get it, watch it. You want to strive for humility and admit your mistakes. This is something I've learned the hard way. Early on, I would be like, I didn't do that, or try to cover it up, or try to move on, or brush it aside. Consult your assigners and your evaluators, right? Ask for an observation if you haven't gotten one. Be coachable. This is what I tell my students. I teach college journalism as a side gig each semester. That's what I tell my students. Be coachable. Don't respond to constructive criticism with the phrase, yeah, but, right? Yeah, but. This is how they told us to do it in Georgia. This is what they told us to do in Tennessee. Yeah, but we don't want that. If Mike is evaluating you, or Bill Powell, or Greg Height, you want to listen carefully to the constructive criticism, right? You can silently discount the criticism you disagree with that won't work for you and internalize the criticism that does work for you. We're giving you your time, right? This is the moment to learn from constructive criticism. Take it. Be yourself is crucial, right? You certainly want to grow. You want to recalibrate how you're officiating, constantly striving to improve, but try not to do something that is not you. In other words, levity can work for some officials with coaches, and it may not work with others. Self-deprecating humor works with some officials, and it may not work with others. But you will gain credibility with your partners, athletes and coaches, when you admit your mistakes. Learn from them and commit to improve without repeating them. Officiating is about honesty. This job that we're paid to do will make you a more honest human being. Again, it can be humbling, very humbling, right? Being on stage and making mistakes in front of everyone. Remember, we're all human, so know that you will make mistakes, but commit to face them, right? And figure out how not to repeat them. The last part of this, self-evaluation, is something that Herb mentioned, and I want to repeat. It's really important. Seeking mentors. How did you get to where you are? It's because of other people, right? Who do you look up to and why? Seek out those people. You can find them in our association. Herb Phillips, terrific at communicating with coaches. Really good. Trey Towery is here, great at managing games and keeping the games flowing. Greg Height leads excellent pregame meetings, has tremendous rules knowledge. Didn't see if Ryan Rowe is here, but Clyde Allen as well. Both of them run like gazelles on the field and exude confidence. Who do you call when you've had a difficult game? Who is that person that you call to have a conversation with, to chat with, right? For me, it was for a long time Gordon, and Greg and I do the same for each other. We call each other after games. It's a friend that you have who's good listener, non-judgmental. You need to find those people. They will help you. They'll help you stay sane. They'll also help you, right, be honest with yourself. We have a helpline set up for you all with 7 GLOA officials, all veteran officials, you can call and talk to. It could be anonymous, but these are people you can bounce ideas off of, talk about rules mechanics, problems with coaches, right? Ask your assigners to put you with officials you know will help make you better. Perhaps those officials, and I've some in this association, I did this when I was trying to get better, will agree, hey, why don't you be the R this time? I'll be your umpire. I'll be somebody there to support you so that they can help you learn how to effectively manage a crew as the R. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Again, how did we get here? We got here with the help of other people. Those are my 3 points, but I have one more I want to mention, and it's appropriate for today. As Gordon Corsetti once said, we have a responsibility to look out for each other on and off the field because no one else will. Not the fans, not the athletes, not the coaches. You might not agree with your partners on your crew. You might actually dislike them. But you will need them to help control games that go sideways. They can quickly spiral, as we all know. Don't throw your partners under the bus, right? Instead, you tell coaches, hey, we'll have a conversation about this, right? Address constructive criticism to the whole crew as we, right? Because we're a team. Be careful with the timing of your criticism with officials. Maybe you can wait till after the game so you don't take them out of your game if you're the crew chief and trying to deliver a message. And then check on your crewmates before and after the games, on and off the field. How are they doing? We all benefited from mentors. We have a responsibility to do the same for officials coming up behind us. Your hard work, the mentoring you're doing, it's going to live on beyond you. So, this last point is key. Your reputation. It's part of moving up. Become a mentor to other people. This is a small community. Take the long view. Take care of your crew. Be the guy everyone wants to work with. We're the best team on the field. Thank you all. Happy to take any questions, comments. Who is that guy? He's young, right? That was when I started at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I just using the photo over and over and over again.
That's AI.
Yeah, AI. All right, so if there's no questions, I'll be around. See me if you want to talk a little bit. Here's my email address. You can call me, text me. I'm happy to help, happy to talk, rules questions, communicating with coaches, moving up, et cetera. Thank you all. Have a good day.